Yeah, it's true. Horrible security shambles. People can bring anything through. So that's what happened there. You know, I told you in 2007 that, because I had former top CIA analyst Ray McGovern on, that they were planning to stage a Gulf of Tonkin with ships attacking our own ships. It came out in New Yorker magazine. Two-time Pulitzer Prize winner Cy Hirsch confirmed. Cheney at that time wanted Navy SEALs to attack our own ships. They said no. Admiral Fox Fallon basically had to resign because he refused the orders. We've had several heads of CENTCOM, several chairmen of the Joint Chiefs of Staff come out and behind the scenes stop the Iran war. 888, we almost had nuclear war with the Russians, that whole Georgia thing. Sir, I told you years ago they would put TSA on the streets. I saw him say it on C-SPAN. I broke all this down. I said that, of course, the leadership of Penn State was involved in a pedophile ring. It's now in the Daily Mail and other newspapers. Okay? I have had the police officers on and others who were there and saw the feds bomb Oklahoma City. So I understand it's scary for you to hear this type of info. 1.4 billion rounds of 40 cal have been purchased in the last year. That dwarfs anything ever imagined. I can read to you the news articles where regular Marines are running checkpoints from Tennessee to California. I've had the state reps on and read the governor's statement where the military tells them we're going to do what we want. And then, I mean, no one can deny. I told people 15 years ago, the NSA's got hubs at all the telecommunications facilities listening to everything you're doing illegally. That's now admitted now. You know, I met with a fella from a telecommunications company, an engineer, 15 years ago, is how I knew about that. And he said, I can't tell you what's classified, but I'm in order to do this. Here's what's open source. Look at the Telecommunications Act. I told you they'd be breaking in over cell phones with government alerts. It's all coming true. I wish it wasn't. Okay? If I do anything, and I apologize for this, I subconsciously hold back how bad this is. I mean, I told you the globalists run al-Qaeda, and I have a stack of news here. Asia Times, al-Qaeda flags fly over rebel-held Syria. That's today. More visible U.S. role expected in Syria in coming weeks. CNS News. You know, U.S. gets ready for, this is Israeli news. Quotes U.S. sources close to president saying he will join an Israeli attack. Israel test SMS missile. Alerts as Iran chatter grows. Syria video shows rebels throwing bodies off roof. Yeah, they're just executing. It just goes on and on. And people are like, oh, Alex, don't fearmonger about war and all this. Did he hang up? Why did he do that? I mean, you know, it's funny he brought up the Olympics. What am I supposed to do when we have whistleblowers saying this is what they're being told? I mean, are you going to call in if we don't have something in October or November happen? And say, oh, Alex, you made this up, nothing happened? I mean, what am I supposed to do? I've had countless police and others where they're having urban warfare drills in places like St. Louis, where they got tanks rolling around, say, yeah, we were told, you know, martial law in late October, early November. That's what I'm seeing all over. I'm not saying that's going to happen. But there's all these mainstream news articles and Army manuals saying re-education camps for us, and the government's arming to the teeth against us. And if we don't take this as a threat, they're going to get away with it. Don't you get that? God, you make me angry. Excuse me. Fernando, who's Army. Fernando, what's your take on all this? Thanks for holding.
Yeah, there's a good article in Veterans Today by Gordon Duff. Have you had him on the show?
I think years ago. I think so.
He goes into, it was over the weekend, the Israelization of the United States police force.
And what's it break down?
Slowly, every police department in the United States, at the behest of Department of Homeland Security, is being trained by Israeli groups. As part of this training, there is an increased move to use military uniforms, armored vehicles, heavy weapons, etc.
Oh, yeah, no, I saw that first in the New York Times years ago. Yeah, Israeli groups are out of Israel are training them basically how to shut down cities and turn everything in like it is in Palestine. Very creepy. And, yeah, it's Israel's used as a client to come in and like be the experts. But our taxpayer money pays to give M16s to all the Israeli citizens that want them, which I'm all for guns, but why is my gun bad then? I appreciate your call. Yeah, no, I'm fully aware of that. The ADL is basically a Mossad front, and they're teaching that basically America's bad and all this. It's just terrible. All right, we'll be right back with Jim, Mark, and others. Stay with us. You know, we don't screen your phone calls, and I'm more than happy to hear people that disagree with me. But when I covered the Olympics a few times and sources saying that they were being told there'd be this big attack sometime after it, I said I thought that was to acclimate people, to a police state, and that I didn't think there'd probably be an attack. But then that guy calls up and says, you said this was going to happen, it didn't happen. Look at what's happening overall. Look at the loss of liberty. Look at what's happening to the economy. Look at what the bureaucracies are doing. We're becoming an unfree country. The world is losing freedom. And world government is being announced. And censorship is increasing. Let's go back to the phone calls here. Let's go to Jim with info from active duty Marines. Go ahead, Jim. Tell us what's going on. Then we'll go to Mark, Steve, and others.
Hey, Alex. First of all, I wanted to say the previous caller, don't let that discourage you.
No, it doesn't. I just don't get these weak minds. I mean, clearly, there's public Army manuals admitting re-education camps for us. I
see it. You know, I have a friend that's a current military police, and he's pretty much in the dark about all this. I've turned him onto your program, onto your website. I've shared my login information, so you can go check it out. And he basically he's in shock. I mean, he doesn't see what's going on. I mean, nobody's telling him. So apparently, this is very compartmentalized. He's only about an E2 or an E3, I think. So I think if this is going on, it's going on at the higher levels. Definitely,
Well, yeah, just like Fast and Furious. But I mean, we've got the articles with links. A lot of this is on the Army's own website. This is the re-education camps, the gun confiscation, the teaching the Army that the enemy is the Tea Party, and that they're going to have to take over the states. I mean, that's all there. It's just, I guess, the average people don't go read, the overall force structure. They just take orders. But, I mean, that's how the globalists get away with all this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think for the most part, most of you guys are young. They're out there. I wore a Marine Corps uniform. It was a source of pride, and you follow orders. I mean, that's what you're taught. There's a lot of us waking up. I mean, realizing that there's something wrong. There's something that's just not right about our country anymore. And he's definitely waking up. He's waking people up. I asked him questions. Do you see any of this going on? He like I said, he himself, he doesn't see any of this. I mean, they're telling him he's going to ship to Afghanistan in 2030.
Well, sure, they're all. But they're training regular Army and Marines for riot control and stuff. That's not hidden. The Secretary of the Army, again, a month and a half ago in the CFR, said they want to put troops in every major city. So this is all really public. That's what's so weird for somebody like myself that sits here and studies it. It's all pretty much in the open. God bless you. Appreciate the call. That caller before last gets to me because the guy sounded like a nice person. And I guess he just wasn't sophisticated enough to understand that I didn't say the Olympics were going to get blown up. In fact, I said I thought it was hype, but we looked at it. Unbelievable. Let's go to Steve in Montana. Go ahead, Steve. You're on the air. What's your info?
We're pulling over here on the side of the road. I got a friend of mine, Bob, here with me, too, that got the information firsthand. I'll let him tell you what it was.
Yeah, General Paul Valley used to be on Fox News. he's telling friends and relatives to stock up on the beans and the bullets up here in Kalispell, Montana.
So again, sure, I'm here. Some of your people that are inside the system are saying, get ready.
Absolutely. But he's been saying this for about a year now. Paul's been saying this, and I can't give my source, but anyway, the other thing is we got our National Guard up here in Montana, in Kalispell, is being trained by a cadre of National Guardsmen out of Helena, Montana, in riot control. I've talked to two different guardsmen, and where I work, and the one kid was from Libby, Montana, and the other guy was from Kalispell, and he said they're getting training on civil unrest, as far as riot control.
Yeah, that's the game plan, and we're getting closer to the controlled collapse where you'll be begging for the military on the streets. But the point is, the globalists engineered it to then take our liberties. It'd be one thing if people were burning a city and got dealt with militarily, but you could just let the citizens be called in by the police. They could deal with it. If you'd let the citizens just be armed. The cities that'll burn will be New York and Chicago, where they've disarmed the people. But Obama has come out and said Chicago is the model of the country. Really?
We're on the march.
I really feel sorry for people out there who are naive. I've been on air 17 years, and I have covered countless military drills, operations. I have confronted FBI agents at Waco. I'm not bragging about what I've done. I've run into quite a bit. That's how the good Lord set things up. And I've not seen 1/10 the persecution of the lady we're about to talk to, or the people like Joe Bannister have gone through, who was a Treasury agent. He was able to beat their false charges. Sherry was not. But for those that haven't had people in the federal government call up and death threat their family and let them know they were just listening to your phone call, heard you just talking to your mama, now I'm going to cut your head off. For those that haven't experienced 4 guys beating you up in a parking lot telling you to shut up or next time you're dead, you just don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to tell you right now, okay? You've got criminals at the top that are trying to manipulate good people throughout the system to do bad. That's why they tried to sell us that torture is good and secret arrest is good and cruise missiles are tough and armed drones are good. And, there's this threat, Al-Qaeda. Oh, but now it's not Al-Qaeda. It's gun-owning conservatives, libertarians, constitutionalists. It's a takeover, and they brag they did it. It's a banking takeover. Now they want physically controlled. They want a national security state over everything. All over the U.S., they got public school kids trained to spy on their parents. That's in the news. They're forcibly inoculating little kids all over the country without parental consent. We're already living under incredible tyranny. They're doing forced Gardasil shots, killing people all over Mexico right now. The Gardasil shots here killed a bunch of people. Rick Perry lied and said it was the law to take it. We're already living under crazy land. They're already grabbing little kids and putting them on chemotherapy and killing them.